powered by Riverside.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Broken Wolverine Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Codd, and alongside of me again, my co-host, Jake Belts. What's up, Jake?
What's up, man? Another great weekend of NASCAR. My favorite race of the year, but excited to talk about tonight, man.
It's pretty interesting because your favorite race of the year, and a lot of people hated this race this past weekend. We'll be talking about all that tonight on tonight's episode. Brickyard 400, we're going to open up the show with this question of the night. Feel free, we got our Blown Engine chat line wide open to all of our guests and listeners tonight. Feel free to interact with us. Blown Engine chat line wide open on any topic of discussion. Feel free to vent, banter, whatever you want to do. Feel free. But Jake, I guess the question to the audience tonight, listen, this is now year 3 with the Brickyard 400 being back. For years, we had fans always constantly complaining about the Brickyard 400. We shouldn't be racing on the oval. Well, we went to the road course. We tried the road course. Everyone bitched and complained about that. Now we're back on the oval. Well, year 3, the fans absolutely bitched and complained about it again. What is it about Indy that you guys complain about? You guys wanted it back. You wanted it on the schedule. You wanted the oval. You wanted the road course. What do you want from an Indy race? What do you want from the Brickyard 400 in order to pique your interest? Personally, for me, was I a big fan of this race this past weekend? Not really. Not really. I mean, it's a historical venue. It's very fast, all that type of stuff. In regards to that, it was fun in that aspect. Now, I will admit, there was not a lot of passing going on in this race during green flags. If I'm not mistaken, I think someone had a stat. There was 0 green flag passes in this race. Point of the story is, point of the question, what do you want from a Brickyard 400 that will bring your interest back into this race? Because at this point, we have a bunch of fans that are continuously complaining about this track. I don't think they'll ever get rid of the track due to the fact of the relationship with Roger Penske. But the point is that something does need to be done. It needs to be a much better race than what we have seen over the last couple of years. And no, the road course is not the answer. But wanted to open up the show tonight with that question for our audience tonight. Jake, let's kick things off with some show announcements like we usually do. First up for us, one, if you love listening to us and you enjoy hearing our show, we're always live every single week on YouTube and Facebook at the Broken Wolverine Podcast. Must follow both those streaming providers in order to listen to us live on air. If you don't listen to us live on air, but you wanted to continue listening to us, don't worry, we have you covered. Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music uploaded every single week for your listening viewership. Feel free, you missed us on the live stream, unfortunately you can't comment and banter with us and have fun, but there's always ways to listen to us as well. Also, if you love our show and you know that there are friends of yours that will enjoy listening to us as well, have them go on our Facebook page at the Broken Wolverine Podcast. Go up to, on our profile, go up to the 3 dots, click the 3 dots, and add friends to follow us on Facebook. Again, if you feel like a friend of yours, hey, you got to listen to these guys talk NASCAR. They're both really entertaining. They both suck. Let's go make fun of them. Doesn't matter what you want to do. That's the way you do it. Also, follow us on TikTok at the Broken Wolverine Pod. Jake, you've been up and running with TikTok, kind of pissing some NASCAR fans off, I see. I love it. I love it as always, Again, we are the unofficial voice of the fan for NASCAR. We are not a corporate voice. We are not. We are 2 dudes that love the sport as much more than anybody probably, that love to piss off the hierarchy. So come join us. That's all you got to do. Also, next up, our second show announcement. We are now 2 weeks away from Richmond. And for all of our fans that have been listening to us all season long, that's right. This podcast will be live at Richmond on August 15th. Again, 2 weeks away, Jake. I'm so excited to be down at the River City to see this race at the Richmond Fairgrounds. First time you and I have been at the track. So this is a new experience for both of us. We're excited to branch out to our Virginia fan base, meet some new fans down there. Again, you had an opportunity to see us at Dover. If you missed us, no big deal. You had an opportunity at Pocono. I don't know why you missed us at Pocono. There was no doubt about it. We had the best tailgate of them all. And then finally, the final stop of the 2026 season for us at the Broken Wheel Brand Podcast will be at Richmond. And Jake, I think it's a little premature, early to sit there and discuss what we might be doing in 2027. Might have to wait that for a couple more weeks post Richmond, but
We'll keep people thinking. Keep it. You know what? Make some guesses. Drop it in the comments. Where do you think we're going?
yeah, it's going to be an early season race. That's I can tell you that right now. It's going to be an early season race, but I don't think it's the one that everyone's going to be going, oh my God, the boys are going to Daytona. No, we're not going to Daytona.
Nah.
Unfortunately, we don't have Daytona money right now. But anyways, post Richmond, we'll keep our fans in tune because we have an early season 2027 date locked. We're super excited about that as well. So, again, multiple ways to see us, and I think that our 2026 slate was actually pretty fun this year. Dover, Pocono, and Richmond. That's a great slate, man. It's a really good slate. Three different types of tracks too, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, Jake, let's take the green flag on tonight's episode. And as we always do, we have NASCAR news that we're going to open up with. Pretty heavy news week, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened post Indianapolis that I definitely want to bring to our audience's attention. So we're going to kick things off with article number one this week, or a headliner number one this week, and that is Legacy Motor Club announces strategic ownership group. All right, so a couple of these guys that were part of the strategic group have been announced early in the season, right? Darius Rucker, we kind of knew. Guy Fieri, we already kind of knew. But Legacy is now going to be adding more owners into this strategic group. Some of the names: Bryce Harper. As a Phillies fan, this warms my heart, baby. This warms my heart.
It.
Bryce Harper in NASCAR, man. I know we have fans of ours that are Braves fans. I'm sorry that we knocked you guys out of the playoffs twice, but Bryce Harper's part of this group. Scott Dixon, Jen Rubio, Andy Roddick, the tennis player. Another Philly, Chase Utley, is part of this strategic group at Legacy Motor Club now. Tony Kanaan, Sam Byrne, obviously we mentioned Guy Fieri, Darius Rucker, Dario Franchitti, and of course Kelly Slater is the last name that's going to be part of this strategic ownership group. Jake, you talk about an organization. We rip Legacy a lot on this show. Not in bad ways, but it's like, man, the expectation at this point, I expect them to take the next step. Adding these, champions to the mix. Cool. God, this could be a very fun organization to watch as they continue growing with these bright minds. What do you think?
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I think, like you and me talk about all the time, NASCAR is not dying. When you see names like this coming into the sport, it's only getting bigger. And for Jimmy Johnson to go out there and be like, you know what, we're taking this to the next level, he took it to the next level. We're getting guys in here who have big names, big following, who's going to want to put time and money into the sport. I think it's great, man. I think it's honestly great. Like, look at 23XI, Michael Jordan. Like, it sucks, yeah. Pitbull was in it for a little bit, got out of it with Trackhouse, whatever. But still, it's these names that you don't hear all the time with NASCAR that are big name. Bryce Harper, you think of baseball, man, that's one of the top 5 guys you think about. Come on.
Yeah.
We're talking one of the best baseball players in this time is now a part of fucking NASCAR? Dude, what else are you going to do? I think it's great, man. I'm excited, man. I think this is a new era of NASCAR, and I think this is the way that NASCAR needs to go. And after this, I hear one NASCAR dying fucking comment again. Like, just post up on TikTok, man, because I've been just eating people alive on there. Just come on. I want to debate it.
Well, like you said, I mean, we continuously hear from a certain demographic of the fan base that NASCAR is dying, right? NASCAR's dying. Oh, the NASCAR's dying. Clearly, it's not.
No.
There's a lot of money that gets filtered into the sport. And again, when I look at what Legacy just did with the strategic ownership group, right? Bryce Harper, massive name. Chase Utley, massive name. Tony Kanaan, massive name. Dario Franchitti, same thing, massive name. Then you have guys like Darius Rucker, big in country music. You have Guy Fieri, one of the most biggest celebrity chefs you could probably envision in this country. And then on top of it, you have Andy Roddick, the former tennis player. People want to get into NASCAR. They want to invest into this sport. And as you said, we talked about it. Michael Jordan, obviously, with what he's going on with 23XI. Big name within itself right there. And then on top of it, we're not even just talking about Michael and all that type of stuff. You had Pitbull that had a couple years stint with Trackhouse. There is a bunch of people that are trying to buy their way into NASCAR. This move to me, and again, I don't know what impact it's going to have on Legacy Motor Club in the future. That I don't know, and I'm hoping it has a massive impact, but it's just the names that could be at this track or the names that continue investing into the sport. That is a lot of money on this strategic ownership group. That is a ton of money. Mm-hmm. I love this move. Absolutely love it, and I agree with you. If you think NASCAR said, they're getting away from the old guard and all that type of stuff, are they really getting rid of the old guard? Because guess what? I hate to say this. The old guard, while I love all you guys, I promise, and you guys built the sport into this beautiful powerhouse, the new blood's got to come in eventually. Mm-hmm. It's got to come in. Unfortunately, the older generation is dying off, and that is a very sad fact. We need new blood in the sport, and watching these names come into a strategic ownership group in Legacy Motor Club is beyond sensational. Completely beyond sensational. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Grant, final point on this. There is a loose tie-in that LeBron James is in NASCAR technicality because they have part ownership of Fenway Sports Group. He has part ownership in that. Now, let's call it as is. He's not really invested in NASCAR. That's just basically one of the pieces that are included. But I love it. I think that this is great news to start off the week with Legacy Motor Club. Speaking of Legacy Motor Club this week, for the fans that did not listen or hear about it, I know we're a little bit late this week, so I'm hoping that everyone's caught up to date on this. In 2027, at the Daytona 500, Rick Hendrick will be leasing the number 48 to Jimmy Johnson in his final Cup run of his career. Whew. I'm so excited to see Jimmy back in the 48. But the biggest question for me, Jake, and I don't know about you, what the hell? What number is Alex Bowman going to drive in the 2027 Daytona 500?
It made it sound there's going to be two 48s. How Rick Hendrick made it sound. But Matt, you want to know what the biggest question is for this whole thing? Will Lowe's come back and sponsor the car for a race?
Oh man, could you imagine Lowe's back on the track? I've been begging for former sponsorships to come back into the sport. That is one of them. Jake, you know this about me, and for our fans, I only shop at Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse because you know why? I'm a Jimmy Johnson guy. I hate Tony Stewart that much. I can't look at Home Depot. I can't.
Matt, I'll drive the next town over to go to a fucking Lowe's that has something before I stop at the Home Depot that has it. I'm just gonna keep driving down.
That is crazy. If Lowe's ends up sponsoring this car for the Daytona 500, oh my God, give me the one-off. Just give me the one-off at this point. That would be so exciting. But in regards to the 48, I think it's cool for Jimmy. I think it's going to be great for his final Daytona 500. But, and kind of into Alex Bowman because we didn't talk about Alex Bowman's retirement because that was on Friday. Alex Bowman's retiring at the end of 2027, which, in my opinion, this is a great move for Hendrick Motorsports. You get Alex Bowman back for one more year. Then you go after, a younger prospect in 2028, whoever's ready and all that type of stuff. In regards to Bowman, I don't know if I run the 40. If you're going to lease the 48 to Jimmy for the Daytona 500, after the 500, I would just retire it. And you know what I would do if I'm Rick Hendrick? I bring the 25 back. Yeah. Let Bowman run the 25 car throughout 2027, and then let insert new driver once Bowman retires, whoever that driver is, have them run the 25. Just retire the 48.
It's honestly not a bad idea.
It's
one last ride, you know what I mean?
One last ride, and then let the new driver have its own identity. Because, even with Bowman, when Bowman came in, he took over to 88. Then he went over to the 48. He had to replace Dale Jr., and he had to replace Jimmy Johnson. Just let the next driver that comes into Hendrick Motorsports, just let them rebrand the car to the 25 and let the 25 car run its course. So, real quick, Jake, before we get to our final, or a couple more headliners this week, Ronald checks in on the Blended chat line. Ronald, great to hear from you. Hey, guys, he says, and he goes, Tony's my favorite, all-time favorite. That hurts. Sorry, man. there's just something about Tony Stewart that just massively was such a turnoff. It was like I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just because I grew up in a house that hated Tony Stewart that I didn't really have an option. But it's the same thing with Jeff Gordon. Like, I mean, I respect what Tony did in the series, absolutely. But you know what it is too with Tony? It was the way that Stewart Haas Racing went out in 2024.
Yeah.
I didn't really care with the way he handled that whole situation because he was all angry with NASCAR. And granted, there's a lot of things behind the scenes, and hopefully one day we all hear about it at the end of the day. But it was just the way that Stewart Haas Racing, how it just dissolved. It was like, dude, that was your baby. You left Joe Gibbs Racing when it like was taking off to go to Stewart Haas to build your own team, which I respect the hell out of. And then on top of it, it's like, okay, then you got pissed, and it was like that was the end of Stewart Haas Racing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I've kind of grown to build my respect back for him and kind of start liking him. Just because, like, I'm huge into dirt racing, obviously. And
yeah,
he
for sure.
now has a big race. I watch NHRA. Me and my wife love watching that. So, I mean, like, I've come to... I like him when he's not in NASCAR, I should say. Don't really like him in NASCAR.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean... I love dirt racing. He's done so much. He's built this team up in dirt racing. He is a really good rider there. I mean, it's off topic, but still.
Yeah, Ronald checked back in. He goes, "It's not the dirt track incident, is it?" That no,
Wasn't his fault.
It wasn't. That wasn't his fault. No, I will always say that. I know the family went out there and was trying to get it. Like, no, and like, listen, I think Tony interviews are probably the best interviews of all time. Right when he got pissed at Goodyear, there's some of the best interviews ever. It was just sometimes, you know what it was, Jake, too? And like I said, it's not, the way that Stewart Haas Racing ended, I didn't really care for the way he handled it. And then this is kind of me being petty and kind of bitter. But when I was at Pocono back in like 2014, I had pit road passes and like watched all the drivers walk out. He was the only driver that people were begging for his autograph, and he just walked past everybody.
Yeah.
Just walked past everybody. Just didn't give a shit about the fans. And that was kind of like the sour taste in my mouth on that situation. Ronald got one more comment on the Blended chat line. He goes, "I hated Jeff Gordon so much as a kid, then I grew to respect him." For sure. And I feel like that's what we always do as fans, right? You hate them when they're on the track, and then you miss them when they're gone. Like Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch is a prime example of that. And the way that Kurt Busch, like when he went out with a concussion in 2022, everybody was like, pray for Kurt, all that type of stuff. Rightfully so. I mean, that was absolutely heartbreaking that his career ended like that. But if you told people, if you went into a time machine, went back to 2002 and told everybody that Kurt Busch would be one of the most beloved drivers in NASCAR in 2022, everyone would look at you like five different heads. Yeah. They'll be like, Kurt Busch? The one that wrecked Jimmy Spencer? Like, Jimmy knows, So, anyways.
I mean, if you put it under context, man, it's like just simple. Look at everybody who hated Tom Brady. And then he left him like, wow, we miss him. It's the same concept,
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I would do anything to watch Tony Stewart rip around in 21.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Doesn't mean I'm a fan of him. I mean, I still won't shop at Home Depot because of him. So. Anyways, way off topic. Thank you, Ronald, for chiming in and getting us off topic there. I love the conversation. Next headliner, according to jski.com, 2027 NASCAR Cup schedule rumors coming out as NASCAR is putting the finishing touches on its 2027 Cup Series schedule. A couple of the tweaks that have been leaked. First, Busch Light Clash. You fans, reach out to NASCAR. You wanted it back. The Busch Light Clash going back to Daytona. The Saturday right before the Super Bowl. I love this. I think that this is probably the best of both worlds, right? You got NASCAR, the start of Speed Weeks. Then most likely they're going to qualify. I would assume they're going to qualify again on Sunday. And then you got the Super Bowl, and then you got a full slate of Speed Weeks. So love what NASCAR did with that. Super happy to see him back at Daytona for the Clash. That has been confirmed. Other rumors along the way, according to The Athletic. Bristol Motor Speedway, their night race will no longer be part of the chase and will be going back to the regular season slot in August, where it was from 1976 to 2019 before it was moved into the playoffs. Love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, now that we're not in the playoff system, there's no more elimination dates and all that type of stuff, sliding Bristol back into the regular season, a lot of fun. Love it. Other tracks expected to bump out of the chase next year. Here we go. Darlington Raceway in South Carolina will not be in the chase in 2027. Excuse me. And Worldwide Technology Raceway, Gateway, will be removed out of the playoffs in 2027 as well, which to me, Gateway can go pound rocks. I hate that track. Expected to replace Bristol, Darlington, and Gateway as the chase races in 2027. Well, it's already been confirmed. Watkins Glen will be in the chase in 2027. Next up, other tracks rumored going back into the playoffs will be Richmond in 2027. Pretty excited about that, right?
Yes.
For years, that was one of the, well, that used to be the cutoff going into the chase. And then finally, New Hampshire will be going back into the chase in 2027, which New Hampshire had a chase date and a playoff date for a long time, a very long time. So, again, those are a couple of the rumors that are coming out of NASCAR through The Athletic. And then finally, the other biggest rumor, there is rumors that San Diego will be back with the 2027 schedule. And then as well as, NASCAR will be racing in the Chicago area next year, though it's still being sorted out whether it is on a purpose-built street course downtown Chicago track or the oval over in Joliet. Possibly both, but very unlikely. So those are a couple of the rumors. And then last but not least, the final point, excuse me, guys, North Wilkesboro Speedway is to be considered the leading candidate to host the All-Star race in 2027. So they had a points-paying race last year, or this past season. It looks like they're going back to the All-Star race, which I'm assuming that makes Dover a points-paying race again. So a couple of the 2027 schedule rumors. So, again, all those headliners courtesy of jski.com. Follow them on X or Facebook or by web at www.jski.com. So if you're listening to us and you heard any of those headliners, you want to touch base on it, feel free. Wide open, Blown-Engine chat line, like every single week. Just comment. We'll read it on air. We'll kind of discuss with you on what your thoughts are on that. So, okay. Jake, we're in 2026. This past week, Brickyard 400. What do we think? Start off with you.
Love the race, man. I love Indy. I think it's a race that should never go away, like we talked about earlier. People can bitch and moan about anything. It's like we say every fucking episode, nothing's going to ever please any NASCAR fan. They could give them the freaking world and they would still complain about it. They'd bring Senior back from the dead to race in the 500 and they still complain about it. But no, I love Indy. I think Indy is a great race. Yes, I was very thrown off with the passing. I feel like the last 2 years, especially 2024, I feel like was more of a passing. I don't know if guys got scared when they start seeing guys spinning out. Like, hey, we're gonna conserve our tires. We're just gonna kind of just follow the leader here for a little bit, and not get aggressive. Who knows? But at the end of the day, man, Indy never disappoints. It's an iconic racetrack. There really is nothing to complain about. It's a massive racetrack. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. Sorry if you didn't. TNT for the last race of the season, I think did a pretty good job. So, those are my points there.
Yeah. Before I get into my opinion and thoughts on Indy as a race itself, let's get to the TV ratings like we always do every single week because we're very fortunate. We're one of the last podcasts that go on air after each race week. Let's talk about the Indianapolis TV ratings, right? TNT Sports earned a 1.34 rating and a 2.384 million viewer for Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series race at the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, very healthy numbers once again. All right, this is where NASCAR viewership's at this point. It's been pretty consistent all season long. The only race I would say got dipped below 2, if I'm not mistaken, was Bristol, the Food City 500, but that's because it was the weekend of the Masters. So, no surprise there. But Indy, with another healthy number, 2.384 million viewers that viewed the race. So, a couple key points I wanted to discuss with this. First, I want to bring up the fan attendance at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, right? Because we have that certain demographic of the fan base that loves to complain about, the stands aren't full, not packed, how dare NASCAR be at this track? Like, it's not, we should not be racing at empty racetracks. Well, let's put it a little bit in perspective here. Indianapolis Motor Speedway hosts and holds about 350,000 fans at the facility, right? The only time that track ever sells out is for one event, the Indy 500, okay? This past weekend, NASCAR had, I believe, the attendance at the Brickyard 400 was 77,000, which has been pretty healthy and pretty on point for every race outside the Daytona 500 in 2026. Now, we talked about on our pre-show meeting why, it looks so dead in there. Why does it look so dead? Well, again, when you have 350,000 seats in a facility and only 77,000 show up, yeah, there's going to be a good portion of the facility that's not going to be filled. Now, they do drape off a lot of the track when we run at the Brickyard 400. They do the massive drapes and the grandstands and all that. Totally respectable. But here's the other thing, folks, that you have to understand. NASCAR only sells a certain amount of tickets for the race. NASCAR will only sell a certain amount of tickets for the race each and every single week. So while Indy ended up having 77,000 fans, what was the total tickets available for this race? That I don't have the number for, but it may only have been 90,000 seats that they sold or were able to sell in the facility. Right? Yes, you're not going to sell the grandstands in turns 3 and 4 going into the front stretch. There's some parts of this track that are just not going to sell because they're not able to sell it. So for all the fans that are like, well, NASCAR's dead. Look at the Brickyard 400. Like, years ago, they always sold out and all that type of stuff. I get it. But, like, again, NASCAR, you can't sell at a facility or sell every seat if NASCAR is restricting what you can buy in the facility. So why would I blame NASCAR for dying because they're not selling out the Brickyard 400 when, only maybe 90,000 seats are available, but 77,000 people bought those seats? Yeah, does it look dead on TV? Sure, but but when you're at the track, I mean, listen, we've been to races for all of our life. We've been to sporting games all of our life. Try to get 77,000 people out of a facility. It's a lot. It's a lot. You're still going to get frustrated with traffic.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to hate it with traffic. So I wanted to touch base on that in regards to why did the Brickyard look dead? Oh, how dare to, again, NASCAR is only available to sell a certain amount of seats. And again, I don't know what that number is, but I know the total attendance on Sunday was 77,000. So we need to stop with this bullshit. And the Brickyard 400 and Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the exception to the rule. You're not going to see a track the rest of the season that looks completely dead. No. You're just not. That track, and yes, have tracks in the past remove seats and out of the grandstands. Sure, Dover has done that. Michigan has done that. Daytona used to have the backstretch grandstands. Now they moved everything to the front stretch and they amplified the front stretch grandstands. There's going to be tracks that remove seats, but I can't knock Michigan International Speedway for not selling out the whole grandstands for what the grandstand seating chart looked like in 1999. Those seats don't exist anymore. Knock it off. They're still selling out. So, again, we need to cut the shit that NASCAR's dying because the Brickyard 400 wasn't sold out. You're not selling out 350,000 seats. You're just not. This is a whole totally different ballgame of NASCAR at this point. And all tracks are going to do it. And Indianapolis is not going to remove seats. They're just not. They host one of the biggest racing events in the world every single year.
If not the biggest.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, now I guess going off topic real quick before I get into my point of regards to what I thought of Indy as a race, you said, if not the biggest, what are your biggest racing events in the calendar year?
I will always put Daytona 500 number one. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
I Daytona 500, Indy 500. I think the Grand Prix is up there. I personally, because I'm just a different racing guy, dude, but I put Supercross.
Yeah.
Anaheim ones up there. I put when they raced the Joker Jackpot at Eldora, Ohio for High Limit Racing. Those are mine, but there's bigger races than that. But
yeah.
Where are you at?
in regards to biggest race events of the calendar year, I would say for me, I'm always going to be biased. This is my true passion. This is my love. It's always going to be the Daytona 500 as number one. The Daytona 500 to me is always going to be number one. And the reason why is because it's like, wow, it's like we're out of football. We're kind of in the start of spring now. Like spring's coming around the corner, and like that race always produces. And even for fans, and we have friends that don't even watch NASCAR. They'll watch Daytona 500. So Daytona 500 is always number one, in my opinion. Number two, I would say the Indy 500. The Indy 500 is absolutely sensational. It's immaculate. It's very fun to watch, and it's very fast. It is literally I think that is the fastest race on any circuit in any series. Number three, I mean, obviously, I guess the popularity of the event kind of died down because I know they shifted the dates. Monaco was always up there for me, but because they moved that off Memorial Day this past year, I don't know why F1 did that, and any of our F1 fans, if you're listening, chime in. I don't know why they moved Monaco off Memorial Day. This past year, they raced up in Canada. But, I mean, and like the Canadian Grand Prix is nowhere near what Monaco was. So I would say probably for me it would be Daytona, and then it would probably be the 500, and then it would have be the Indy 500. Then I would put Monaco if they ever put it back on the Memorial Day race weekend. And to be honest with you, for years until they moved the date, I used to think the July 4th Daytona race was a big, massive race date too. But it's not the July 4th anymore, so NASCAR's kind of, in my opinion, butchered the 4th of July when they lost Daytona off that race date.
I mean, I also think that the Coke 600 is a big race too.
Coke 600 is a massive race. It is a very massive race.
It's a crown jewel, so I mean.
So, I wanted to bring my thoughts back into what I thought of Indianapolis, or what the Brickyard 400. What did we see this past Sunday? What did I think of the race? Well, I've heard a lot of different podcasts this past week. Didn't influence my opinion, but from my eyes, from the couch, from watching the race, what did I think of it? Right. Each and every single week, we kind of do this segment, and I'm going to open up my thoughts with the Brickyard with this. Very iconic venue, very fast, preferably I'd rather have it on the oval than the road course. But all in all, I would give this probably a B- race. I would. I mean, I don't know if it's this next-gen car. When they went back on the ovals, when they went back onto the oval, I was like super amped, super excited. I thought that 2024 race was absolutely immaculate. I thought that was a very fun race. That was really good. That was very fun entertainment. Last year, I thought was very, very fun entertainment as well. I guess 2024 was because there was a lot of fuel mileage strategies and all that type of stuff. That's why I really found it entertaining. This year, it just felt very follow the leader, watching paint dry, and it was just run 160 laps. Now, we did see a lot of tire issues in this race, clearly from a couple drivers. One with the banner right behind you. But I mean, like, how do you make Indy a respectable race, like where fans are intrigued and in tune? I don't know what the answer is. I like I said, we don't go back to the road course. Don't go back to the road course. I would stick on the oval, but it's like almost like you hear about super speedway packages, you hear about road course packages, short track packages. I feel like Indy needs its own package in the Cup Series, right? Like, I feel like teams need to adjust and be like, here's our Indy package. We probably will never run this outside Indianapolis, but this is what we're going to do at Indianapolis. Make it a specialized package where, you can get the passing, where tire wear where it is an issue. And listen, for years ago in 2008 Brickyard 400, right? You had that massive tire situation issue. Where it was like caution after caution after caution after caution. I don't want that back. I definitely do not want that back. But I also don't want to see like no passing, but then drivers have tire issues. That's what we kind of saw this past weekend. I look at the O'Reilly Auto Parts series and the Xfinity series. I think that series has absolutely done wonders racing at Indianapolis more than the Cup. There is last lap passes all the time. They are running as hard as they can. Like, the cars just look more natural on the track. this Cup car does not look natural on the track. It just doesn't.
No. I mean, to answer your question about the whole, like, how do you make it more entertaining, like, and that's like I said earlier, and you just said the 2024 race was probably the best race we've seen there in forever. I mean, I would say ever since, I don't know, 2018, was that the last time we were there before then? 2018? 2020?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I think a lot of people watch the Indy 500. I think all NASCAR fans watch it. And they see how these guys dive down, they're swimming around people, and I think they're looking for that same thing.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to get it. I think another thing that disgruntles people is the leader can pull away in this race. And they can pull away and put a big gap. And I think when you see, and they talked about it a lot this weekend, if you're listening to the TNT, was if you're not 4 seconds behind the leader and you pit, you're going to lap down.
Yeah, which
I think
is
that gets
insane.
a lot of people. I think that gets a lot of people like, okay, well, I'm going to just watch all these guys will be a lap down until the leader pits. Like, and then you don't really get that aggressive racing. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's so that. So that's why I agree with you. I think Indy needs its own package to make it like, okay, if I'm 20 seconds behind the leader, I'm going 2 laps down no matter what. But 20 like that, and that's not. I mean, you're like more so half a track behind. But dude, you're 5-6 seconds behind. You're going a lap down. Like, you're not that far from the leader. I mean, Indy's huge, but I don't know. Maybe that's things people don't like, and I'm just picking off ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, and I think that, again, where I do think in this next-gen car, where I believe that Indy deserves its own separate package is we're watching the end of this race on Sunday, right? You have Corey Heim, you got Christopher Bell. I mean, Heim's slipping and sliding basically around the track at that point. And Bell is not able to make any distance up. He's not. And
look, dude, he would get there and then go like this.
Yeah, if this was the O'Reilly series, like, that's second place is going around first place.
Mm-hmm.
You slip up, I mean, that's it. There's an opening right there, and you're gone. And I think that's the biggest problem in, not to continue harping on the next-gen package, but that is the biggest problem with this next-gen package, is that the leaders can slip and slide all over God's creation, and there's no repercussions that come from it. They just basically are like, oh, cool, well, you slip and slide, guess what? Get in front of them, aero block them, and then all of a sudden your interval goes from, 0.25 seconds all the way back up to 1.2 seconds. Like, that's the biggest problem with this next-gen car. And Indy was no exception on Sunday. Because, now, granted, I mean, what Corey Heim is doing is sensational. We'll talk about him in a second. But for Bell to legitimately not have a shot after Heim was slipping and sliding the last, 3 laps, come on. Something needs to change on that aspect. But
I agree.
we talked about we're going to talk about a couple of the driver topics coming out of Indianapolis and, the point standings and all that type of stuff. Let's talk about the final score chart, courtesy of NASCAR.com, before we get into some hot topics. Race winner on Sunday, Corey Heim, second win of 2026. Oh, boy. We may have a problem coming into the Cup next year full time. Christopher Bell was second in this race. Joey Logano finished third. Chase Briscoe finished fourth. Denny Hamlin finished fifth. Brad Keselowski finished sixth. You had Josh Berry finish seventh. Ryan Preece finished eighth. Carson Hocevar finished ninth. Tyler Reddick finished 10th. That is your top 10 from the Brickyard 400. Stage 1, top 10. We had Ty Gibbs, Corey Heim, Michael McDowell, Carson Hocevar, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez, Chase Briscoe, Chris Buescher, and then, of course, we had Tyler Reddick in the top 10 in Stage 1. Your Stage 2 top 10. Chastain collected another stage win, followed up by Todd Gilliland, Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin, Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, and Daniel Suarez. That was your top 10 in Stage 2. And then let's go with the final laps led in this race on Sunday. Corey Heim, he led a grand total of 58 laps. Chase Briscoe led a lap. Denny Hamlin led 14. Josh Berry, Ryan Preece both led a lap. Carson Hocevar led the first 31. Tyler Reddick led a lap. Ty Gibbs led 46. Daniel Suarez led a lap. Ross Chastain led 5. And then last but not least, John Hunter Nemechek led a lap in this race. That is your final breakdown and score pylon from the Brickyard 400. All again, courtesy of NASCAR.com. So, let's talk about the first driver coming out of the Brickyard 400. Corey Heim. Corey Heim, Jake, this kid is going to be a problem when he comes up full-time in the Cup. This is his second win in the last 3 races at the Cup level. One at San Diego Naval Base, and then one at the Brickyard 400. He has raced in he's only raced in 7 races so far this season. He's got 2 wins. 2 wins. And realistically speaking, that race at Texas, he led a lot of laps and really had a lot of momentum in that race, ended up having a problem in it. But my God, I mean, can you ever recall a driver that has been doing what he's been able to do in such a short amount of time?
Absolutely not. And before we go forward here a little bit, this guy's going to be a problem, unlike Connor Zilic. I just had to put that out there. I just had to say it.
Here we go.
No, this guy's going to be a fucking problem, man. This guy's got talent. This guy knows what he's doing. He's young. He's ambitious. He's got a drive. He's racing. I just seen it in all 7 races, man. I mean, obviously only won 2, but like I just have seen the progression, man. It's not we're gonna wreck after 10 laps. We're gonna finish 30th plus every fucking week. It's this kid's got what it takes to compete at the Cup level. Like I can straight up tell you next year when he's full, he is in the chase no matter what. I'm telling you, especially racing in 23XI equipment. The kid's got massive talent, dude, and he's not letting nobody bother him.
24 years old.
Yeah.
24 years old. And this is a part-time driver. Now, granted, and someone brought up an interesting point earlier this week about Corey Heim, right? Heim's a part-time driver. He's racing trucks here and there. But he's been on the racing sim pretty much the whole entire season, unless he's racing. So it's kind of easy to continue practicing tracks that you know your scheduled starts at. But at the same time, like, he's part-time, 24 years old, doesn't really get the benefit of doubt, and he's putting the car in the victory lane twice. And on both races, both those wins, let's talk about both those wins. San Diego held off Tyler, was racing Tyler Reddick and was catching Tyler Reddick and ended up passing his teammate. Now, some people could sit there and complain that Reddick let him go by, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. Heim still got around him, won the race. Indianapolis ends up holding off a hard-charging Christopher Bell and Joey Logano, by the way, who's reemerged out of left field. But at the same time, like, Heim is putting this car in positions to win. This is it's a very tall task for a young driver like this. And for 2 wins, and the one thing I like about Heim going into his next year as a full-time driver, one thing I like about Heim a lot is that there's not going to be a monkey on his back. When's that first win coming? When's that first win coming? When's that first win coming? The wins have already stacked up. He's already got 2 in his Cup career. Next year, he offloads at Daytona. There's not going to be, Corey Heim's going to be a great prospect, someone to watch. Like, when's he going to win? No, he's got the capabilities of winning. He's won twice in part-time roles. He's led a good portion of laps in these races he's ran. Even at Daytona, he was in the front a lot. The one thing that really, with the second Corey Heim win, that really opened my eyes, and I've talked to a couple of people about it, and they asked me to bring it up on air. You got Tyler Reddick winning races, you got Corey Heim winning races in 23XI equipment. There's a third teammate on that team that is not winning races. Could Bubba Wallace eventually be in trouble at 23XI for not winning?
Unfortunately, just because the sponsorships he pulls, I don't. Very disappointed in him this weekend, by the way. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a very touchy subject. I just because Bubba Wallace can win races, and he's shown that he's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot better at road courses, where he used to say he hates every week that he has to go to a road course. He's figured it out because he knows he's got a race there. I don't know. I think you got to see more wins out of him, but I think he's there for a good bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this kind of puts the pressure on Bubba.
I think it puts the pressure on him. Yeah, for sure. This guy won 2 races, and you haven't won one in 365 in a whole year now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Well, like I said, I mean, I think it puts a lot of pressure on, or puts Bubba on the hot seat, because if Heim goes into the full-time season in 2027. And let's just say I don't expect him to win 5 races or anything like that, but I expect him to knock off a couple more wins next year. He goes into this 2027 season, knocks off a couple more wins. Reddick's doing what he's doing, and Bubba still has not found victory lane. Listen, 2028 could be very interesting.
Could be.
2028 could be very interesting for Bubba Wallace. Because clearly the equipment's there, the equipment's there for them to win races. And clearly if, you're talented enough to win races in those cars, where's Bubba at?
Yep. No, I agree. I agree for sure.
It's a big question mark for me, and not to bring it to Bubba Wallace, but I feel like Corey Heim's kind of putting the pressure on Bubba Wallace, and especially with what Reddick's done so far in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Bubba's shown that he can do it, and we both know he can. Bubba Wallace is a phenomenal race car driver. Don't get me wrong; like the guy's up there for a reason. I'm not a fan of him. I don't root for him. I respect the guy, but yeah, no, he's shown that he can do it, and he's had a lot. I think he's had a lot of great moments this year. I mean, I think every year that since he's been on there, and I know I'm kind of getting off track here, he's shown more and more improvement. But yeah, with Corey Heim coming in, like you said, I mean, that's going to be the whole shit. Like, this is the kick in the ass. Like, this kid just won 2 races in part-time. I didn't win 1 race this year. I raced every week.
Corey Heim's last 3 starts, Jake. First at San Diego, first at Indy, 9th at Chicagoland. In 7 races this season, he's got 2 wins, 1 top 10. Or 2 wins, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s.
Yeah.
I mean, is he a chase driver in 2027? I agree. I mean,
He's
what
already
I've
proved
seen.
it.
With what I've seen and all that type of stuff. Now, I'm interested to see what the crew chief combination is going to be with him. Is it going to be Booty Barker? I don't know. I know Booty Barker doesn't really want to do it full time, but that team, God, like I said, what he has done in part time is immaculate. Mm-hmm. It is so much fun to watch. I'm interested to see what happens. Obviously, since he's part-time, he's not in qualification for any of the points and all that type of stuff. And it's like, I'm looking at the scoring pylon, right? Like, he wins the race. How many points does Corey Heim get? 0.
0. But honestly, Matt, I did read something on there. If you did give him points, dude, he's above Cody Ware. He's above everybody's boy, Connor Zilich. Like, he's above guys who have raced every single freaking race this year. If you take his points, he's above them. Dude, I think he's like 28th or something like that.
It's insane. That's insane. Let's get to the second driver that I wanted to talk about this week. And I know early in the season we kind of ripped them with the Dale Sr. paint scheme. You're not Dale Sr., yada, 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 stop it, knock it off, and all that type of stuff. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about Carson Hocevar, man. Let's start giving Hocevar credit where credit's due. Is Carson Hocevar the new face in NASCAR?
I want to go that far. I don't want to go that far because there's a lot of big names in NASCAR. Could he be the future name of NASCAR? For sure. 100%. Definitely a guy that I did not like. Wasn't about him. Wasn't a fan of him at all. Thought he had no part in being in the Cup Series. I got to eat my own words. I was wrong. Carson Hocevar is exactly what NASCAR needs. And he's showing it. And the guy is getting better and better every week. He's figuring it out. I'm telling you. I think this year he wins another one. But next year could be a force to reckon with, man, because like you said about Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar does a lot of sim shit too. He's learning these tracks, man. He's getting good at them.
He's 5th in the points right now.
I know. Massive jump.
He is 5th in the points. Is Carson Hocevar the new face of NASCAR? I like what you said. I don't think new face of NASCAR, but the future of NASCAR. I wouldn't give him the face of NASCAR right now, but definitely the future of NASCAR. First of all, Carson Hocevar started on the pole at Indy. The problem with Spire right now that I have with them is that they can start a race. They can start a race. They can qualify well. I mean, him and Suarez had great qualifying efforts on Sunday. They start off very, very hot. Their in-race strategy and the way that they finish races is what's killing them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely killing them. Preferably, it's killing Carson Hocevar. Hocevar finished this race in 9th. He started on the pole and had the speed, but then just lost the track position, and then that was the end of his day. The problem is that Spire needs to keep up with these drivers. These drivers are good. Hocevar and Suarez are both really, really good drivers. Hocevar being the future of NASCAR, first of all, and again, I am going to eat my own words because rewind us back to March. We both went off about the Dale Sr. paint scheme. We both did. We were like, you're not Dale Sr., knock it off. You need to win a race in order to be even remotely close. We had a lot of fans sit there and bitch and complain to us about how, Dale Jr. appreciates him and all that stuff. You're right, Dale Jr. did. Here's the thing that changed my opinion about Carson Hocevar. He put the car in victory lane. He did. He found a win. He won at Talladega. But the thing that I like about Carson Hocevar, one, he is everywhere at this point. Everywhere. He's dating that influencer. He went to the Met Gala. He went to the Sports Met Gala. He, is watching old races, talking about why NASCAR used to be elite, not what it is now. We need to get back to that. He's on the Dale Jr. download. Carson Hocevar is everywhere. And here's the biggest thing about Hocevar. And again, if you listen to us all season long, the reason why I didn't care for Carson Hocevar in the beginning of the season and why I do now, in the beginning of the season, it's like, I don't need to take advice from a guy who's never won. You need to win to have an opinion. Winners have opinions. Well, guess what? He won a race. So for me, that door unlocked. You know what? Have all the opinions in the world. And guess what? The thing about him is that he's producing. He's currently 5th in the points. He leapfrogged Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson this past week after Indy. I mean, do I think that? I mean, we always talk about too, like getting to the top 6 in points in the in the regular season, you have a shot at the championship. Now, I'm not writing this guy off. I'm not. When it comes down to him being able to put his car in the places that other drivers won't, Carson Hocevar does that. This has absolutely been probably a storyline that's been brewing all season long, in my personal opinion. This has been brewing all season long. And he's finally hitting that stride. Like I said, though, the problem, it's like I just don't trust Spire Motorsports just yet. I don't.
I think you'll trust him next year.
I will definitely trust him next year. The problem with Hocevar is that the Spire is incapable of keeping up with Hocevar's talent at the moment.
Oh, for sure.
They start off, as I said, just like I just said, they start off very well in races. They fade into the distance as the race continues on throughout. If they can just put the package together for Carson Hocevar, like we look at last week at North Wilkesboro, had a car to be competitive to Logano and Hamill. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the car faded on him. Indy this past week led the first 31 laps in the race. It's like, oh my gosh, this kid is finally coming into his own. The car was unable to keep up with him in dirty air.
Mm-hmm.
If they can just put the car package and figure it all out for Carson Hocevar is going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. I really like what I'm seeing out of the 77. I really am. And the other thing, too, he's not afraid to piss people off. He's just not.
Mm-mm.
And like I said, Jake, I will eat my words. Because back in March, I'm not giving Hocevar any praise and all that type of stuff. I did last year. I was like, Hocevar's good for the sport. Kind of pulled it back a little bit because I'm like, the dude needs to win. I need this kid to win a race in order for him to continue acting the way he does. Guess what? He won. He won.
Yeah.
Won at Talladega earlier this year. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from the 77. And do I agree with you on will he find another track to put his car in victory lane? At this point, you got to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to say yes. If Spire's able to put everything together for him in that race, he might be one of the best. He might be one of the most untouchable drivers.
Nah, I mean, hell, the guy fucking nosedived fucking Corey Hyman to the goddamn fucking pits and then fucking proceeded to flip him off and go back on the track. The guy don't give a fuck who you are, where you're at, or where he is. And his
That
cruise,
rival-
and his spotter was fucking hilarious after that too.
That rivalry
gave me
is
a
gonna
heart
be
attack.
that rivalry is going to be so much fun for years
Oh
to
man,
come.
and you know
Carson
what? It's
Hocevar
gonna be
and
good
Corey
because they're
Heim.
both good.
Yeah. And that's what NASCAR needs. I feel like NASCAR needs an infusion of young, fun, full talent. Because, like, when you look at all the talent in the Cup Series, right? Like, when we look at Christopher Bell, we look at Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney. While they're still young and they're still in the prime of their careers, there's no doubt about it. The problem with those type of drivers is that they're in their 30s at this point, right? I look at the NASCAR standings at the moment, right? You got young drivers like Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, Corey Heim, who's going to be coming up in next year. That's like the next wave and infusion of NASCAR talent. Unfortunately, like where we're at right now, it's like the good old boys, and it's like now that next era of NASCAR could be very aggressive and it could be very, very fun. And Carson Hocevar is going to be leading the pack.
And here's the thing, and I don't want to go over our heads here with this, but I'm saying this could be, not that it's going to be, this could be the next Jeff Gordon Sr. rivalry. Not really a rivalry, but we're going to push each other to the fucking limit, and we're going to make each other beat each other.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be, so no one freaking put these freaking people who listen to us want to put words in our mouth. Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
And if it is, oh, I can't wait.
I think this is what the sport needs. I really do. I think the sport needs that good old 80s NASCAR. Right now, I feel like, and I'm a big history fan of the sport, right? And at this point right now, I feel like NASCAR, while, yes, we are not in the early 2000s anymore, we're just not. I feel like NASCAR, where we're at right now, is very parallel to the late 70s, right? You have a bunch of drivers that can win races, very talented and good drivers out on the track, but they don't want to ruffle feathers. Mm-hmm. What made NASCAR so special? What made NASCAR so elite? 80s NASCAR. And who was in the front lines of that? Dale Sr. and Tim Richmond.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this young infusion of talent with Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim coming through the system and coming up through the ranks, and eventually Bowman's going to get replaced by somebody that's going to be young. These guys could be the next aggression of 80s type NASCAR where it's like, dude, every single week it is a heavyweight battle between these guys. Right now I feel like we're in the 1970s type of NASCAR where it's just the good old boys are going to race clean, not going to complain, you're going to respect me, I'll respect you. But in the 80s, whew, baby. And I feel like that's where we're gearing up to. So NASCAR, again, and I think Hocevar is the front man of this pack. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, let's get to the final driver tonight on the discussion. Let's talk about Denny Hamlin briefly. Hamlin still stays your points leader, by the way. He is now 84 points ahead of second place Tyler Reddick. Problem with Denny Hamlin, another year, doesn't get the crown jewel. Doesn't get the crown jewel.
And it's his biggest problem. Restarts.
Yeah, and like the other, and like it's so weird because like in the he went on that 3-race winning streak right back in June, and we're like, here it comes the Hamlin championship year. Now he has put himself into the front pack of I'm the championship caliber driver. In order to win a championship, you got to beat me. But it almost feels reminiscent of last year with this championship run. I'm looking at the data right now. By it was 2025, 2026. Very similar results over the last 5 races. Atlanta last year finished 31st at Atlanta, 4th at Chicago Street Course, 20th at Sonoma, 1st at Dover, 3rd at Indy. This year, put it in the context of the time frame: 28th at Sonoma, 3rd at Chicagoland, 12th at Atlanta, 2nd at North Wilkesboro, 5th at Indy. And it's like Denny just gets into this part, like the dog days of summer, and while he was fantastic during the second quarter of the season, the first quarter and the second quarter, the third quarter of the season, it just seems like he's starting to fall off just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. In order for Denny to win this championship, though, I truly, truly do believe that more wins need to come. I need to start seeing the 11 car stack more wins again. Now, granted, he's got a nice little stretch of races coming up. He's got Iowa, Richmond, New Hampshire, Daytona, Darlington, Gateway, where he won last year, by the way, and then Bristol. Those next 7 races are going to be a very, very friendly 7 races to Denny Hamlin. But like I said, I just one of those 3 races in a row, I'm like, dude, the sky's the limit. This guy is just unstoppable at this point. Then we got to San Diego. We kind of knew he was going to fade off into the sunset. Third at Chicagoland, kind of did what he needed to do. But at New Atlanta, he just can't find victory lane.
Yeah.
But again, listen, he caught Tyler Reddick. He ended up expanding the points lead on Tyler Reddick. He's up 84 points in the point standings. I'm still leaning on the side of this is Denny Hamlin's year.
Yeah, I mean, this is the closest it's been. I mean, like you said, the numbers kind of matched last year, but I just feel like a different fire from him this year. But yeah, I mean, dude, Tyler Reddick, beginning of the year, man, we're like, who the fuck's catching this dude? Like, this guy's got the regular season freaking championship washed up. See y'all in the playoffs. That guy's, and here's the thing, man. You want to know what's crazy? Tyler Reddick has not been racing that bad either. Denny Hamlin's just been better.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, Reddick is starting to pick it back up again.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a fun. I mean, listen, it's gonna be a fun chase. It's just gonna be a fun chase. I mean, you got 4 guys right now in the point standings that are locked. You have Hamlin, you got Reddick, you got Blaney, you got Gibbs. They're all 4 are locked into the chase.
And shout out Gibbs, man, because you and me fucking killed this dude, beat him into the ground, and this dude's locked in before even the end of the season's over. Good, like. Hats off to Ty Gibbs. Round of applause to him.
Listen,
Great
he
season.
won another stage this past weekend.
Yep.
Won another stage and just continues collecting those points and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, hell of a season by Ty Gibbs. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun chase between the top 4 guys. In my personal opinion, at this point, I know that we always say, I know Harvick said top 6. I think it's gonna be top 4. I really do. I think it's gonna come from the top 4. I don't know if any of those 4 are gonna be unstoppable. All right, Jake. Biggest disappointment this weekend from you from Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney, yeah.
Usually a shot that guy's really good. Kind of just cruised through the pack. I think he was in 13th, 98% of the fucking race. I'm like, is this guy ever going to get a position? But like you said, and we talking about, nobody passed anybody.
No.
Disappointed. I know we didn't touch on it yet. I know we had the in-season tournament. I was like, screw it. I'm going to go against you, man. I'm going to take Todd Gilliland. I'll take the crown for that.
Yeah, you won that.
But, I mean, Ryan Blaney shot himself in the foot, man. That was his race to put $1 million in the bank. And I just, all day, where's the 12? Where's the 12? I mean, I felt the same way about Bubba. But Ryan Blaney, for sure, because he was there in 2024. He was there in 2025. I was like, Ryan, it's like we talked about, dude. The only way Todd Gilliland wins this is if Ryan Blaney doesn't show up or he wrecks. Oh, he didn't show up.
He did both.
Yeah, he did do both. That is true.
Yeah, he did both. Blaney's a good one for biggest disappointment of the week, right? Lost $1 million to Todd Gilliland. We'll talk about that in a second. Finished 26th in this race. Did end up wrecking with John Hunter Nemechek. So a little bit of a very disappointing day from Ryan Blaney. My biggest disappointment, I'm going with Hendrick Motorsports second week in a row. Second week in a row, Hendrick Motorsports. Your highest finishing HMS driver this week, Alex Bowman, 19th. William Byron, 21st. You have Chase Elliott, 37th, and then you had Kyle Larson ended up wrecking. He finished in 39th. Where's Hendrick at this point? Second week in a row, very piss-poor finishes from all 4 of those drivers. 2 of them were battling for the championship, quote-unquote. You're starting to fade off in the worst time of the season. We talked about Chase Elliott last week. Can't buy a top 10. This past week, this might be the worst stretch of racing I've ever seen from the 9 team, ever. Larson, we don't need to harp on it anymore. 45 race winless streak. I don't think it's going to get done anytime soon. Honestly, the next time I could see Kyle Larson win a race is Darlington in September. So you might end up getting the 50 races at this point if you're a Larson fan. Bowman's just basically a sitting duck at this point. He's got a year and a half left in his racing career. That's pretty much it. And William Byron, I mean, dude, you got to start picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
You are now at a full 36 race winless streak. Or no, excuse me, he won at Martinsville. I'm sorry. He won at Martinsville last year. But it's like you are like that. I'm used to seeing that 24 in victory lane. Where are you? But all in all, it's just Hendrick Motorsports in a nutshell.
I mean, William Byron next week is going to a track that he's pretty good at, but I don't know, man. And the thing that sucks is, and this is what, and I'm not trying to take any credit away from Spire. Like, you're making Spire look better than how do you word this?
Probably better than what they are.
Better than what they are, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's massive talent there, and those guys are really good over there. Don't get me wrong, but like at the end of the day, man, like SVG looks better than you.
Yeah.
Again, not taking anything away from SVG. I don't want anybody to think that like I'm like knocking the dude, but you're talking about Hendrick Motorsports.
Finish six. Yeah, I mean SVG. Talk about SVG for a second. Finish 16th in this race. Not bad.
For him, it's a win. I guarantee.
It's a win. It's a win. It's a win. All right, we talk about the biggest losers of the week. Let's talk about the biggest winners of the week. Who do you got?
My biggest winner, and I'm going to go off this for a little bit, is Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski hit a single this week.
Needed that more than anything.
Hit that single going into a off week, into a race that he raced phenomenal in last year. Just couldn't get it done. But yet, Brad now hit that single that you and me have been talking about all year. Brad, just hit a fucking single.
Yeah, get that spark. Yep.
Let's do this. Going in on an off week on a high note, going into Iowa, a place that he raced very well in last year. Led a lot of laps. So, he's my winner this week. He's my winner.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about Brad, too, I mean, started this race in 16th. I mean, it's not like he started in the top 5, finished top 5, and all that type of stuff. Started this race 16th, finished 6th. I mean, it's a pretty good day at the office for the 6 car. I got 3 winners. I got 3 guys that this week, I mean, first of all, Josh Berry, 7th place finish. Started this race in 26, by the way. Started this race in 26. Great job by the 21 team. We haven't talked a lot about Josh Berry in 2026. Honestly, he's on his way out of at the Wood Brothers racing team as well. I love a great finish by them. Really good finish by them. Ryan Preece is another one I really want to give a big shout out to. Finished this race in 8th. He started 34th in this race. That is a tall task to come from when you're starting that far back in the field. Found his way into the top 10. Ended up finishing 8th. My last winner of this week goes to Cole Custer. Another driver we do not talk much about, right? Started this race 12th, finished 13th. Again, I don't expect much from Haas Factory team at all. I really don't. I mean, they're just they're not a starting park because obviously they're much more expensive than a starting park. But the one thing about Cole Custer I really, really like about him this week, it's like, dude, no one was expecting anything. You finished in the top, like within the top 15. Pretty good day at the office from that organization. So I got to give those 3 guys massive shout-outs. Those are my 3 winners of the week. All right. Now, final point coming out of Indy. We finally wrapped up the in-season tournament challenge to bracket. The $1 million challenge. The little engine that could, 25th place, Todd Gilliland pulls it off. The Todd father ends up winning the $1 million challenge. And shocking. And we just talked about Ryan Blaney, right? Todd Gilliland wins the $1 million if 2 things happen. 1, Blaney wrecks, or B, Blaney doesn't show up. Well, he did both of them. Gilliland ended up winning the $1 million, finishing 24th. Blaney ended up finishing 26th in this race. I am going to say this, and maybe an unpopular opinion. This was a fun idea in 2025. This year alone, I thought it was a fun idea as well. I don't know if NASCAR needs to continue this going moving forward. Now, they will, obviously, because it's part of the TNT package, but not really. Like, it was just very difficult to take the booth very serious about 2 guys who are racing 24th, 25th, and 26th for $1 million. It's like, really? This is what it comes down to? But have fun incentive. Todd Gilliland ends up winning $1 million. Hey, good for him. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the race, they kind of just focused towards them, too, because Blaney was catching them. Thought that was pretty cool to watch the end of the race, but at the end of the day, I want to watch the guys in front.
The race for the win. I want to watch the race for the win, not guys who are racing for 24, 25, 26. And that's what we were doing with Gilliland and Blaney. But credit to where credit's due. Todd Father ends up winning $1 million.
Or at least split screen it.
Yeah, split screen it would have been fine. But that, in-season tournament completely over. 2026 in-season tournament. Jake, crazy part is we have one more broadcast booth or team left in the 2026 season. We got NBC. That is it. We are 14 weeks away, dude, from crowning a champion. I mean, there's still a lot of time left. But, yeah, I mean, Fox, Amazon, TNT, all in the past. What do we think about TNT year 2?
I liked it. I think I liked them last year. I put them as my number 2 last year. And I'm gonna leave them there again this year. I just don't think you're gonna top Amazon, but I was not disappointed in them at all.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to top Amazon. I think Prime is just really the cream of the crop in broadcasting and NASCAR at this point. I would go, for me, it's always going to be Amazon It's going to be Amazon number 1 the last 2 years. I really want to see the full slate of NBC. I'm a massive NBC fan. I think NBC NASCAR coverage is absolutely sensational, and I think it's a lot of fun. I know a lot of fans don't care for Lee Diffie because of his voice. I think it's very stupid. I think the dude is massively talented. But I'm interested to see what NBC does coming off the last 2 broadcast partnerships. And Fox is always going to be last until Fox figures out their camera angles. Yeah, until they figure it out, like, they're always going to be last. But as of right now, I would say Amazon, NBC, TNT are 1A, 2A, or 1A, 1B, 1C, and then Fox is like 10.
We got to give Fox credit, though. They did get rid of their stupid cartoon bullshit this year. It kind of looked a little bit more
agree. It looked professional. But
so we're getting up there. We're getting there.
Yeah, but you know what the problem with Fox was? They started off so hot at the 500. Started off so hot at the 500, and then they, I want to say, once they got out of that West Coast swing, they just, lost it.
Yeah.
They resorted back to old Fox again. You know? It was like,
once I remember, hit Watkins Glen, it's like, fuck, that's when the downhill started.
When we first started the season, on the show, I remember, the first couple episodes, we were like, yo, NASCAR is so back with Fox. This is incredible. What is this? This is early 2000s Fox. And then all of a sudden they, resorted back, they did that stretch on FS1 where they got goofy and silly again, and then they just rolled it into Fox National, and it was like, okay, here we go again. We're back to being old school Fox of, idiots being idiots. Except, I do like Harvick. I think Harvick's good, and Mike Joy's always great. But it's Clint Boyer. It's so.
Clint Boyer's.
Anyways, yeah, he's a clown. Clint Boyer's a clown, and I like Clint Boyer as a person. I really do. I think he's fun and all that type of stuff. But it's like sometimes in the booth, it's like, yo, read the room, dude. Read the room, and even the camera angles and the coverage. It's like, they're wrecking, and you're like, what? At least the next 3 broadcast partners, Amazon, TNT, and then you got NBC, the lead play-by-play guy is excited, oh my god, there's a wreck, and it's Fox, they're wrecking. So
no, Fox. It's like Clint Boyer's going off talking about the underwear he wore 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about bullshit.
Or the
and it's like, oh shit, 4 laps ago, fucking guy hit the wall. Shit. Wait, go back to what we were watching here. Come on, dude. Someone's got to I think what Clint Boyer needs is somebody just stand behind, watching him, be like, yo, we're here. You know what I mean? To keep him back or talk to him in his headset, man, you're going way off.
Well, that's the other thing too. Boyer will be talking about the barbecue he had at the tailgate, and it's like, oh wow, there's a wreck, and it's then the camera's not even on the wreck either, and you're like, what? What happened? Even at Watkins Glen, NBC has that awesome bus stop camera angle and all that type of stuff. Fox didn't have that. Fox was more focused on showing the porta potty that went flying into the course, and
that was the highlight of that race.
That was the highlight of the race. But like I said, Prime, TNT, all those guys are excited to actually oh my god, we're actually telling a story of the race. The 3 of them on Fox are basically talking about Lord knows what. It's like watching the news on a Saturday morning. Yes. You don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, let's get into the point standings before we close out tonight's segment. So Hamlin ends up remaining the points leader. He's at 886. Reddick is in second, 802. Ryan Blaney is third in the points with 766. And Ty Gibbs is fourth at 751. Those 4 are clinched, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Now, this is where the big changes started coming up because the top 4 are pretty much clinched and no movement up there. But this is where the big movement started. Hocevar ended up jumping 2 spots. He's currently 5th in the points with 638 points. Chase Elliott dropped a spot. He's down to 6th with 635. Chase Briscoe moved up a spot at 632 in points. Dropping down to 8th, 2 spots. Kyle Larson, who's got 617 points. Chris Buescher is now currently in 9th. No movement there, 613 points. And Christopher Bell is in 10th with 609 points. So top 10, 9th and 10th doesn't move. 11th in the points is Daniel Suarez. He never moved from 11th. 12th, you got William Byron. 13th, Joey Logano. Here he comes. I hate to say it, but he jumped 2 more spots this week. Oh, my God. Are we going to be talking about a Logano victory or championship?
Please don't jinx me.
It's an even year. It's an even year. He wins in even years. 18, 22, and 24. We got 26. He's getting hot right at the right time again.
I mean, if he takes it,
Oh,
I
my.
won't be that upset.
Oh my God! I would probably drink. I would drink bleach if that happened. Yeah, Logano's now 13th in the points. He jumps 2 more spots. Bubba Wallace drops 1 spot. He's 14th in the points. Shane Van Gisbergen drops a spot. He's 15th, and then Austin Cindric holding the ground at the 16th spot in the points. Below the cut line, you got Ryan Preece, 17th. He has 480 points. Cindric's got 518. Eric Jones drops another spot this week. He's now 18th in the points at 474. Brad Keselowski stays at 19th with 468, and Michael McDowell is at 442. I would say pretty much McDowell below is pretty much done.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty much done. I mean, Chastain's 21st with 436 points. He's nearly 100 points behind Cindric. I don't think he makes up that ground unless everyone in front of him has a couple bad weeks and he ends up pulling off a victory in victory lane. And then, like I said, AJ Allmendinger is 22nd. He's got 409. He's like 109 points behind 16th at this point. So, continue asking this question. Anyone below the chase that you expect to jump into the chase?
I kind of like it right now where it's at. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, I think those few guys could fluctuate a little bit, but
I think if there's a driver that has a shot, I think it's Preece.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's who I said last week, but I mean, it's still pretty tight. So, I think you'll have what would you think? Your top 10 will probably be set in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Your top 10 in points should be pretty much locked.
I mean,
I would say unless any of these guys, unless like Hocevar, Elliott, Briscoe, Larson, Buescher, or Bell have issues over the next 3 weeks.
Could be. It could be 3 weeks. That's true.
That top 10 right there in points should pretty much be locked after probably Richmond.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that the chase, at this point, I think you're pretty much locked. I mean, Cindric's not going anywhere. I mean, whether I think that Cindric is a chase driver is a whole different perspective. But, the thing about Cindric is that Cindric is not going anywhere. I mean, he's 16th. He's just he's just consistently 16th. So, I mean, Preece might have a shot. I think if Brad, maybe the spark plug at Indianapolis may end up wakening a sleeping giant, but maybe a little too late.
Hopefully.
And I don't think Jones has a shot. It was a cute story for a little bit of the stretch. McDowell, I don't think has a shot. And Chastain, I think is pretty much dead. Last but not least, our battle between Cody Ware and Connor Zilic, dude.
Where are we at now?
Zilic got 216 points, and Cody Ware has 183. So the lead is starting to separate a little bit. 33 points. 33-point difference right now between Zilic and Ware. Does Cody Ware catch him? I don't know. A couple more of these DNFs, you might. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we were going to tracks now. Cody Ware will 100% not fucking finish on the lead lap.
Yeah, well, he hasn't.
So
I don't think Ware's finished on the lead lap over the last 10 weeks.
Yeah, and this tracks coming up is not going to help him at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. But, all right, Jake. We want to do Iowa picks this week, or do we just want to post them?
It's up to you.
Let's post them.
That's fine.
Yeah, let's post them. We're still far out from Iowa. People will forget about our picks anyways.
Yeah,
I will say this.
Make people go on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I will say this. I will give you who we chose in the preseason. I chose Ryan Blaney. You chose Brad Kay.
And I'm going to keep mine. So
I want to keep mine.
our other two, you have to check out the Facebook page to figure out who we picked.
Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast, and that's going to bring us to Checker Flag tonight on our episode post Brickyard Baby. As Jake said, check us out. Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast on Facebook and YouTube at Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. We go live stream every single week. We're actually taking an off week this week. Next week we will not be live. We're taking it off. We will be off this week coming up due to NASCAR bye week. Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast taking a bye week. So we will be off this week because we got some stuff that we got to work on to make our shows better. And we got our Richmond stuff that we got to start kind of setting up as well. So we'll be off next week, but every single week that a race happens, we'll be live on our live stream at YouTube and Facebook at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. Make sure you follow us at both those streaming platforms. If you miss a live stream, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Follow us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music for to listen to the episode the next day. Also, follow us on TikTok at the Broken Wheel Bearing Pod at TikTok. This sucks. We're already past Indy.
I know, man. The fucking season's just flying right in front of us.
But with all that being said, guys, we'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks from now, post Iowa, which we're looking forward to. Follow us on Facebook for those picks as well. Jake, pleasure tonight.
Yes, sir.
Have a wonderful bye week. We'll chat next week, or we'll chat in 2 weeks with all of you here at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Be safe. Be blessed, and we'll chat with you in 2 weeks. Good night.
He didn't slam you, he didn't bump you, he didn't nudge you, he rubbed you. And rubbing, son, is racing.